That's say the Supreme Court a rule or sign a bill, one signing, although the Supreme Court ruled on the 18th of December. Now Ghana for him say Sabatwa 2 the NDC themselves will accept. Just the way Ghana fought to about Bubnu. The way Ghanaians voted massively for this government, LGBT issue, there was a by-election in Ascent Central. Yes, go and talk to the MPP why they lost that seat. The NDC people went to the Muslim Maslaki Waka and say the reason why the MPP want to remove honorable, they say bill no, pass it. Go and find out from the MPP. They talk in the way they lost. It was not a factor.
Commencing the 24-hour economy policy. One of our signature policies for job creation and economic transformation is the 24-hour economy policy. We promise to commence drafting the needed legal amendments and prepare for its implementation within the first 120 days. The program is designed to drive structural transformation across our economy, built on pillars aimed at revamping key sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, and tourism. The program rollout has commenced in earnest. The 24-hour Secretariat is collaborating with the Development Bank of Ghana and the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund to operationalize financing pillars for this program. Cabinet has approved amendments to the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act and the Labour Act to include specific clauses regarding 24-hour operations. These amendments aim to enhance social protection, create an enabling environment for the 24-hour economy policy, and promote conducive business and labor relations. Already several businesses are lining up to sign on to this policy. Some tangible actions have also been taken. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center has launched 24-hour premium services to eliminate processing delays for investors. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has launched a 24-hour passport service with the passport application headquarters operating 24/7. The DVLA used a 24-hour service to clear a long-standing 18-month backlog of licenses.
Unfortunately for me, the question I was submit my answer. If I say that decision, I was not privy to the brain behind it. I was not privy to the brain behind it. But you've asked a very fundamental question. Now, it's written up Parliament from 2 o'clock. The rest were now about 10. The rest were now about 11. Now about 12. Addiction of power. Many of Kumia, yes, I government communicators by 7 o'clock. As well, Adom, as well, Peace FM, as well, City FM, as well, Joy. If you have 10, 11 o'clock, yes, I'm sorry, 7 o'clock. Yes, I'm not Parliament. From the radio interview, about Parliament. After the now for the next 10 o'clock. Friday, yes, I'm your constituencies. I constituency, you might have baby on Monday. I think said, yeah, question, said, okay, and that is not the first time a member of Parliament said, "Waka baby." They can't want to this year. Oh, we change the structure. The air cost I mean at 41 years, and then we're done in my home. It's a lesson to all of us. See, taking your health very seriously. Yes, we are members of Parliament. We must love our constituents. We must love Mother Ghana. But you can only love Mother Ghana well when you are healthy. It's a very good conversation with the other. You're sure to your Parliament, you'll be the home.
Also, we are my Shebe Junior, so the next year can. I see the 2013, I call my Shebe Junior. And when members of my show, Monkwa, or more Moya, Omodasu, meaning stress level, and then we are in taking good care for ourselves, and I dread it, and I dread you my another demo. And we are also trying to find a way a bit more balance your life and the work we do for the nation. And now they can say, you started 2 o'clock. Many committee meeting, Biano. If we fear around 11:30. The church said a fan of penny and I know. Though me had mommy phone, so one sense called that no. The whole morning, no, or half of it, no. Maybe it is a missionary but and until a person tries to read it to my work, he said they're working with other parliament now. And to my work here, we'll switch. At least we'll try to do things about boying and all. If it is another child, I can say, we know we are, maximum 21 days, you can buy election, we'll be a refuge. We'll be on cow, me no can say, we should them our economy sample and I pass a call because one will not pay a quenyaman. Interest members and so no, yes or no, you share your cafe welfare. Internet, we are experimenting it. It is a truth.
kwada na watwe no apam wase edi dwumadie bre wadi eda so bani ni dwumadie eti anwumre say your my Ghana mu say ya me no ni o ba bia wutie ye firi bia na busua ye da wase say uchi mu afidie no ene ya Ghana de say ye kusukuku ni ewo mu anwumre ensuo no ase to ase peti ni ewo mu nyina da no say wafidie da ha na wutie ye ne a ye mu adwo ye mu akwaba say ya me no ni so na ye social media platforms no say ye Facebook Adom 106.3 FM so and so ko YouTube Adom 106.3 FM so wana wutie ye fira abusua anwumre ye si adwa na yeso asem so nam wo se brano se wo ye Ghana ni wuti o man Ghana mu woni o man nu mu kura na wam no ne na wo fra wo ho se wo ye Ghana ni de hye ya wo man ya yetimwe no wo taku o sempoa wo contribution bi ka ho and wo man no koso anase by the virtue of say wo ye Ghana ni de hye no se bibi koso wo mayimu a wo bunu yagu wasum wo kasa medie maintain hwe a enyeye da bia ne ekoso wo man no mu no wo se wutumi mu ani di akire ensakira ye bi ba wo man no mu a wo ye Ghana ni nko ade wo se wo make sure say changes be ba wo man no mu me wo contribution e wo se me make e wo changes a e ko wo man no mu me say sa wo ye Ghana ni a sa wo ye Ghana ni nko ade every bia ne e koso no e wo so nya update entna baby nka say media menya politician media ne ye na mfa me ho decision bia ye beteki no say ye politicians no na take decision no omo policy bi ba e ye dan a e be affect wo enu nti ne ekoso wo manum bia no se wanti ase so amanfo betum futura agu ani wanya understanding of ne ekoso wo manum a eno because politician ne de ono no person ne party ba power eti etoda nchiremu omode be ma wo efa ne ekoso wo manum ho no wanhwe ye a e betum futura agu ani ba sabu ye Ghana ni na nne yi a yesi abefo ne ewomuo enne yi a yesi da bi ene ma esesa aganya abotre wasem ne beba Mika say we are Ghana ni so wa me no ni o obi a na no kule so obeka ye ni reverend e kasa electricity for de no ene obi kire mu se wo no ka so bu a ye bu no afa so no meters 9 ye boni fie no yakotu meters ni nyina afiri ho ye komu asi o ensi for no ana abetuo yakotu de akoboni pakro fufuro fie wude nyabotre agya nyabotre ebedi akire ene de yankoho eti nyabotre na nnei no sa wuti o manmu na wo ye wo ho sa media hwe mfa me ho minsua hwe mintie hwe da kro beti asi abonteni aka se ye nyina ye na nonum ye na 5pm na wo nam ne achew eti e wo se nne yi ane mesesa enne ye ubetimi akan bi wuntumi nkan a enti ne wo radio stations ahoro TV stations ahoro languages ahoro ne wo te na ye dan a se ye kra de ye ya chichem Joy FM muti brofo abetie bi wo ho woti akankasa abetie bi wo ha ye bo languages enti nne no e bo sesem abaya woti su empanifo ka se 24-hour economy woti sa brofo na wo mo ye campaign no ayete ye no ebi so na ya propaganda amanfo de abobo mo ka ho na 24-hour economy na sabre no so kura sha ase no explanations e ba ye na wo mu a party communicators told there was information you get the right information and san what yes ya bonten because when nyam information edimu na wanti ase a we be kan de 24-hour economy no yes say na tie eduru ba bi kura anye ordinary person bi o na fe wo bi a yes o we do nim de why doctor na nti ase kura ama eti nne abanya me yehu se wanka ne kekese 24-hour economy no omo de ba be ye propaganda no wajamu eye policy omo pese eye adwuma neboa nesesa wo mayi na yesika sam tumi kwa nimu eti si ye kase be sesa ye be mena sesa wo ka wie a na wonwie ye eye wano na wo de aka eti kwan ben na ye be fa so to see to the implementation of 24-hour economy ne se be ye adwuma esan ye be ye no dia ne ye be ye sika san ne ye be hia anwumrei wo 24-hour economy no wadi nchiremu be du wunya understanding of the 24-hour economy mo nchese ye no nyame adom yen ene secretariat no mpanimfo a me catch or some mampani sa wote so na ye almost so mbe ye so mo boa ne ma ya penifo me yehu so set ye bia no e wo seba set ye bia no e wo se adwuma no ekoso eti nne penifo ayi no se boa mankita mudie boa man hyehye no aye no eniema ntumi nkoso no abusua ene Dr. Ishmael ni amanododu e wo fie ha eti ya ne doc ba be si adwa onye obia se wukọ 24-hour economy secretariat won mo a director and head of innovative financial partnership and market ene ye kan say yakokuro omo an ebetumi akirem adwuma omo ye ne honom no because secretariat ne de ni yaba ne ate ni yaba na no na me kan afidie so say enwo se ye ma 24-hour economy no say ye say a good policy e bebo a yenhwe na meye 1D1F yenhwe na meye policies bi aba ya ne du baabi ya de oman sika chemu na kawuram na ebi akoka nsinsemu afeyi enhu ne ekosi eti nne yokoduro honhom si ebetumi akonwo si entumi nkonwo no abusua ene yensa ka Dr. Ishmael ni amanododu ewofia ene doc si adwa na enkomotwetwe na ba na ansa na mekọ doc wonom no ene so wate akinye bebre ene foreign minister ena LBGTQ+ honsem se wate ni akoso from Nashebedwam from the asie nyina no ene yenko ba ne me pesa wudi tu tim wo ye manwoni wo ye Ghana ni a me say decision bi a wo teki ni wagina so ato aba decision bi a wo teki na wagina so aye bibi wo wabra bomu no independent bebre on politicians wo ma wadwen me sha ase medical ka kire wo me say listen and take a decision so wantie na wo ka se mete se no omo ka sei wote no hwanya no wahu se nei amanya ya se LBGTQ+ no ye munch adwenkyere mbra woni a wonim de ya de ye adwuma ene utie ne minister kan yo si o na nya no na wedi na ne ye take decision wo ho no na ye human right re asem no wo se ma unkyere mu anwumre ansa na makọ Dr. Amano so say ye kase ye take decision woni a sexual orientation sem ya ho ma tietia ma nkwada fa hodie so ebe nipa se bia nipa na take decision say me yo ba na emo me pesa me ne bema me ne bema mponya ne sapo me pesa me ne oba na wade me ye bema pesa me ne bema na wade a the decision was say nipa yi fa hodie no ye nto aba emma say ebo se wo mo fa hodie ye protect yo mo ye be protect your mo say obi mmoro won ka say because of who say decision no wa take into no e bia what because we have countries etoda ye buru nipa ni bi ni yakun because you say me ye be ma me pesa me ne be ma na wa ni aboro won yakun ti ye take decision ye be protect one na say nipa ne ye be ye woden eno ho na Ghana because utie minister no so da bi enye say ye LBGTQ+ ni tum ana ye nyin tum ho ene ye koto waba no ba ne omnyina so ne se nipa no o ma take sa decision no ye to aba ye protect won eti Ghana mu gina he ene ye se ya twe ho afiri mu no ene ye se ya twe ho afiri mu no eti ne ye wo mu oni abusua yi se ye bisa wasem se wo pe A wo pe B ye mo wo ho ban wo gina he amanya wonu mu take sa decision no ye wa amani bi wo ho no mo amusi o ye de we no ye ntachire emfa ho ne asem am bebisa yen ye ntachire ye nko ye chese ye ko bi no maka ba bi omugina poten no omde ya kire wo ene ye wo amani su bi wo ho no mo amusi o ye de ntachire ye hu se ye nipa fa ahudie eti ye de ba bi a ye gina no ye se da bi ma ye nkoteti obi a me nkotata obi a ena Ghana ye de ne se o da bi we de ye gina mfimfini wahu se basa ye campaign wo manmu na se niyama ni bi wo ho na se ye de ye politics se o da bi aban jitum because unim NDC aban yi ba ye wonya ya busumi nsiani bisa se abada da nim sa abre mampani na nado asofo ni Ghana fo ye nyina ka ho ne team no ase papa wo begya tumu a me hu ba bi a wugina ena ono wode wada ya onhu ba bi ogina na Ghana for so kire ne se yes yenkyere yadwen kura yempe mantumi anya antumti monko na monko tena nkyɛn asofo bebre campaign o mo yeye no enyina so o mo de kɔ yeni na sabre no ne na mampani ka ho na mra no kura ma hye badwam o mo gitum mu no sika ye de bebɔ mra saa enhyehyɛ hu ka no sa ye de obi kɔtum a ɛwɔ se state no and providing na duane na didie mbabi obeda ma no mra no sa ye hye na ye private members bill a ɛwɔ se nipa no mo am sponsor aye no unji mo ho ka eno na woni ekogina ya beto ne enne mampani a wabase da bi me ma ne nya private members bill bio say na state no man no ene ye de bill no ko 6 months nie enti say ya nkeka ye ho ne ya take decision da bi say na beye ya ntumi an take decision because 6 months no ya draft bill na wie he stage ben ena aduro America no a ye beto aba ne ye de ka se mampani gitum no ye mfa sa America no anya adwuma no enne sa press conference a minister ye ena nye se ne ye ka na nye se ne ye ka ma take decision anka nya ne se na wo pere wanu mu no ye hu baby a ye gina bo sa asem because countries no obi e take decision obi e kire baby a wo gina ye hu baby a ye gina ene ye wo mu ya ena se wo de ya amanyosem so a ohun ne ebebu abo oye dan ebebu abo oye dan ye ti o mamu ye ti wiase mu ebebu abo etu de brepam ye beji biri se ya ye de mpanimfo bebe ebekọ ho na ne de me se 24 hour economy no eso ene ye wo enti mimi din e de akua boachiwe Adom wo fra me ABY a mejo so doc so wo fie ha Dr. Amano e wo fie ha ena make say producers lawyer listo wo kwadwofo jotachire kwamkulenu Aisha Akua Ibrahim Jamretwu Makowua ena ne odematum live wo Facebook and YouTube ni din e de Edward Tete wo fra na Africana obejo so abushia memo wakwaba ya de asedama Franco Trading Enterprise ne computers atwi ho ahia nyina da omo na dedom yen ni African ti hoi ni ehye na sumadian yo Papa Franco Adaroma na ne computers na ye adwuma eye papa nti wo pe bia no akọ wo hia CCTV cameras akọ ye be ma ubi mame nko doka kwaba boko de
boko medase
mesumedase papa enumre no ma bibia ehunehuna ho mesi intro na ye
see burning issues na se na medical me catch no so na metwi no na eye de pa na so me free bukom enti ya me di poto kasa be frefrem na ya hwe baby a ye bedru
mejudi pa ye dase se ya tro nsa frɛ wo mpo no waba sane wa wadi kan aka no ye person ni party ase ye se people understand the 1D1 policy no enti enei baby a ye de adru se mra tachire ni nyina we have to know enti waba no because Monday ni say me say ka doc ba ya nke beboa
yes
eno ma me tia say so won ka se won ma o se brepam obeba eti me da se waba
me da se mami ekua
me da se pa ensu kashegbe language na eguso a o kana yedase na yenhase ebrinim yenhase na yenhwe 1D1F no ya titi bia 24 hour economy baby am de wadru ohu 24 hour economy no yete ho asem kura ansa na ye beto aba no afei yenam ade na hyase boko afi wuna ma be huna driver for the abobo o ka ho na abeye NDC amanyoko nche se enyina so kese se weni ejina so e de aye campaign no
yes
se eye abasa NDC edi nkunim ko ade betumi aka se epike eti ne maba no e wosa Ghana 40 ase 24 hour economy no nchiremu bebre a yenya no enne secretariat no mayen the definite you say netia 24 hour economy na eden
and to me that's the whole kind na correct you start campaign na you count 24 hour economy na aye be more dream say night economy bia to say we call katamanto 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. cry now wait me ato bibia wow and market to say drum nu na boss 24 hours now and also some of us had the idea say 24 economy shifts but the Americans say during the campaign there was an expression to really create the future. You pese yen hu Ghana. You pese yen hu Ghana usha bibia tumpon. Usha ye share your market. Share your journey na ye di. Ye share your sitre mu na bibia ye made in Ghana goods. Enti wo pese wo ye made in Ghana. Na wo de bisu akọ amanenia. Na trese Brofomba can say productive. And to want increase productivity. And to say increase productivity now the market not just in Ghana but market be West Africa, it be Amanonia. Nature say you are becoming busy and busy and busy to satisfy the market. And when the Ebema will shift any night market, Now say the person yen trade 24-hour economy na si trade say who share vision His Excellency President but or the better journal on the 24-hour economy. The vision is this. Before Kasran see 24-hour economy is a catalyst for industrialization, export promotion and job creation. Now it say it's an inspiration the better me anya a country say Ghana now we are producing more of the things now ye here wo hano unu say
enema ye yusu ewo man nu mu no nka ye ankasa
and I am producing and you come say we call homemade in Ghana goods so we talk plates and our cutlery set and now even the hair now we share and now bibia we share watches now I made in Ghana goods and this is the dream I per se we want to go to. And who you say then you are industrializing. Now who produce the Ghanaians near omuni there. Who to me anya surplus now who produce for export. Now the foreign currency not just say city now very heavy. At the same time who you say then you are addressing ultimately the jobs situation. And the idea in 24 economy say we say yem addressing job situation. Now yem Ghanaians own economy. So say idea we share be bia better bia say in free China, every Turkey, and every Indian. And you may say about we share Ghana say Ghana a shopper and now or your factory. The profit in 80% of the profit call these three countries because won't yet be now say China, any Turkey, any India, I'm producing Maya. Let's just say jobs and we'll create and yeah. So now we share job situation. We free university crowd. A bedroom 5 years, 8 years crowd now 1 year Jumange. Now we say we carpenter in Thailand in Bibisa now was strong crowd. It takes a long time to get a job because bibia uyan every amanone neighbor and he share your productive nature GDP a cost through from 1990 it was about 10.6 billion and as I say 80 billion almost now we share job the job a from kra
senke be fa nipa adwuma mu no e sorti
and now there Mobo Nikran say, the importing, some of them, you bet me like the food, some of the food things that we import. Our second largest import of $350 million per year. My dear.
And no more ye my dear no.
And no more ye my dear. Now we cut
abuan
snow. Any intestine. Now and cram catching say friend umpokung
crab pa
350 million now would and your choba na abeye your friend is saying import export commodity so and you would not choba or katamato now would dear not just say you abeye import export now san your money na I say and change but the reason what's up is because your inheriting economy is like the colonial economy. Nature say bia hano. I say when export with raw materials, no more add value, no more farm brain and no na per se and changing with 24 economy. And to 24 economy, there were 3 pillars. First pillar is friends production transformation. You bet me, dear, how can we ensure say no, you bet me are producing made in Ghana goods to feed ourselves. Now you are surplus for industry. Now you exporting. Then the second pillar, pillar it has to do with how do you ensure that we produce here. You deal with the issues of post-harvest losses, and now say now we produce yam. Say post-harvest losses for yam is about 70%, and if you have like 100 tubers, 70%, 70 of the tubers now echo. Now only 300 now over to me their market. And how do you ensure say your structure BB your market you be efficient? So we produce na your market. Naturally say good roads, now good systems, storage facilities, cold chains. Now BB a bet to market very quickly. Your friend supply chain and market efficiency. And the third aspect, attitude of Ghanaians. The skills our Ghanaians should also have. Mindset. So we are shifting to a new economy. What can they do to make sure that they can fit into the requirements of the new economy with ethics, integrity, leadership, and all of these things. And these are the 3 key pillars. It inspires the 24 economy. Now the question will be
the third one no say
human capital development. The people are only running such economy. They are how they become ethical. People of integrity. You can trust them. Also, they have the skills and the capacity to run this modern economy. Yeah.
And Dr. Amano show because near who can you say matibida difference be war. Sa 24-hour economy because and nchemu a wode mame no uze kane no ne ete 10 bi by 3321 you say 331 133
na shift
na chese shift we be kwa adwuma na we yaba ba na won say wa me hu say da bi wo say
it goes beyond that. It goes beyond that.
Yetumi ye nuane e wo mayimu yetumi produce niema a ye use wo mayimu ne ekoton bi kura
correct
ne ewie so a ye nya ready market ade no a ye ne ye mpese besei
correct
nti he ne ye de ko ne ye nya sa ready market no nipa so a ebeye no wo say ye prepare nipa ma nipa tumi gina ne na so competent people on betumi agina ba bia
correct
we difference be wo any 1D1F no
and 1D1F and we share your program your friend productive economy the structure of the 24 economy is targeting the most productive sectors. Naturally say sectors are we want to use to create wealth for Ghanaians. And about 8 programs. One program, the first one, Grow 24. Now, Grow 24, no.
Me one unti me bisa wasa.
And I come to 1D1F.
With 1D1F no so no say ya no mo kan ye say sane ye be ya sika betena Ghana fo botum. Sane ye be ya Ghana fo ho bedwo won. Enti ye produce niema no wo mayimu. Enti ya ye factories me na ne mi hu ye tea row ne de o matimi Ghana tea row no ye yes. Enti ye pese ye na nka ye de bi kura kwa me no ne. And I see musumu de say oh I had the same concept say ye pese ye that Gadgesburg or Mubrofo mu use bre and say Gadgesburg economy no ye person no free ho because the bia ye de agisi ye kra niema se ne wo kan ya bo anso no kra bola ne ya kra ne de aba o mayimu eti we no ne modie no ma ye hu the difference e wo
enti the difference that e won wo hwe 1D1F who bet if you is about building factories now mom be say factory way he na if say on factory in Koshe now should we put the factory here in Odojojo constituency and why? These sort of questions were not answered. The other question is you don't build a factory because you want a factory. You want to build a factory because you have the raw materials for the factory. So, and to why establish a tomato factory? Now want to be anya tomatoes to do the tomato paste. And now I establish poultry factory. Now want to me anya they old chickens now broiler na wa rare omunina it's come there. And the difference between that and what we are doing is we are looking at the most productive sectors of the economy. Now we are organizing the whole production in what we call the integrated value chain. And you will be producing the raw materials. Now you are manu that preserving, now you are manu warehousing, irrigation facility, the friend agroecological park. Now agroecological park concept, it is not in 1D 1F. And to 24 economy, you go back to the basics. How do we produce, and in what ways? Now we will produce it in ways it will meet international standards. And you produce here what agroecological park. Now you say you per se exporting core Europe, and then Europe almost requires. How do they want our product to look like? Now you now you producing what agroecological park. Yeah, now you industrial park, and industrial parks and a bet me a packaging there for the exports. So, and you're organizing all these productions sites, very clear. And it's so big say, you see, the factory where I be see her. Say factory where you be see her you will electricity you will water you will job. This factory will create this number of jobs. Factories where obey a factory to have maize now are processing to cornflakes. And to maize the processing maize for Sene district and I was Bronca for and Bibisa. And you are working out all these things and sana factory paper. Now a difference between another difference when a private sector driven and your government or this car build a factory. Because no country has developed with government alone leading the development. Say you started Ghana at the time of independence. Now we don't have all the skills. We don't have all the capacity. So, and we're educated to be able to work things out. We don't have many, and we don't have a lot of private sector. Wow, and state-owned enterprises and a Kwame Nkrumah set up. Now, almost drive the economy. In this time, we have the private sector that has the skills, almost market, almost scale. And the government will facilitate the private sector. Now they are leading this development. And one day, now it was government that is actually leading the factories. And
also now a private sector led senior
but a lot of money was
say proposal we hear more for proposal bra na government brofo where you soon enumre ya bi na omu suma ye say government will facilitate na eniema koso no we create the enabling environment private sector no omu e person omu de omu hu shem no matumi e de omu.
But they were borrowing. But you see the thing about 1D 1F also focuses on certain factories. You are just building districts. We are building industrial parks in growth corridors and our economic corridors, very deliberate economic corridors. And to Ushre Ghana, there are places is good for share nut production. Places that is good for rice production, and now vegetable production, and now bibisa. And we are citing the factories and linking them together from those who produce to those who harvest to all those who process and export along the same chain. And we are not looking at just grow cassava. We're looking at who grow cassava. You are growing, you are processing into flour, to industrial starch, to ethanol, and so on. And our list of products we want to release into the market, even include cosmetic products, share not converting that into other things. So, and that's the major difference. That the top, we are looking at value chain, end-to-end integrated value chain. Now, one other difference is coming with this is the corridor we are opening up in the Volta Lake side. So we have Volta-Lake Economic Corridor, using the Volta-Lake as the mode of transport of goods and services in and out of the country, in and out from north and south or east and west, and using the tributaries, Omo River tributaries, for irrigation facilities. We have deliberate investment in irrigation and warehousing, cold chains, and technology into this. And we are working, and with this 24 icon, we are working with CSIR, all the research institutions, to really work with the farmers to produce the kind of seed varieties that they need. So,
no, private individuals, no. Ena omudi omusika waka irrigation project was a ye and niema bi wo hono mo a bibi wo ho aban beye na ye won private individuals no so beye na
privacy, yes.
Government ne part obe play wo no eyeden.
The part is to set up the basis of the infrastructure, not just enabling environment, which is policy and incentives. We have the incentives, all of them, tax rebates and idea. But government have to put a skin in the game in order to attract the private sector into it. Government is 10%, private sector is 90%. And to say agroecological parks, the Uber who say in a park, say we are growing maize, irrigation facility, energy for the irrigation facility, storage facilities, farmer service centers it will support the farmers with all the machine implements and so on. And within the service centers, there are those who are even manufacturing some of they repair the machines. They can also manufacture some of the parts of the machines at the same time. And there are those who will be responsible for providing extension services and the seeds for the farm. So we create all these things so that the private sector will take an agroecological park and only invest in mechanized farming. And when you invest in mechanized farming, we want you to work with smallholders, maybe 3,000, 5,000 smallholders, whom you, the mechanized farmer, will be responsible for supporting them to standardize their quality of production, so that the total volumes you produce will then go to an industrial park and someone who will buy that and process it into finished goods.
Into your Fabi to say irrigation project because you say Ghana, baby, I want your season no and yes, you no throughout the year. A drew baby a simpesi, a drew baby a sin to. Eti that irrigation project no be boa ma say wo dry season mukra o manya nsuo and no government na be provided yes. And then the storage facilities no so
and the cold chains now now
and so government na be provided.
Yes.
Eti government 10% no a ye government chefa no e be cost o mine saying.
Well, 10% we are looking at a seed fund of just so the whole program is $4 billion. Now 4 billions, no, I can explain how we are attracting this. So if you imagine that we are attracting the 90%, so government bets say 400 million. Now 400 million is going to do the following,
and $400 million dollars. $400 million. You are stating it emphatically. Say $400 million.
Well, between $300 to $400 million. So let's say $400 million. It's going to do out of the $100 million is for the development of the authority, the institutional arrangements, and all of that. Okay, over 4 or 5 years, and whatever it is, and the money is not going to come at a go. It is to make sure that institution will go.
Installment,
however we need with our budget. Now the $300 million is going to be called a viability fund. What does it do? For the infrastructure that we are going to build, we are building Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. So you want to have a project with the private sector. Obebi Sao say, what is your skin in the game? What are you bringing? And to that, 300 million will be is a viability fund that would do the following: look at the feasibility studies, the establishment of basic infrastructure, things, and then the risking the investment. Now, the private sector will feel confident in order to put its money into the establishment of the industrial park. Now, industrial parks are going to be established through what is called SPVs, special purpose vehicles. Let's just say you come in, you build, you operate, you make your money, and you can transfer back to the country. So it's very simple. If you have an industrial park that is operating, within the industrial park, we're going to have textiles and garments. Somebody is producing the shirts that you even export. So the kind of nice shirts we import from Turkey and China, those garments are being produced here. So they have ready market. You have somebody who is producing your poultry products you see on the market. Somebody is producing your tinned tomatoes and all the other things. So they are all in the industrial park.
Enti doc yensa hwe sika no afemu ne se ne enema besi akọ waka se because say government ni kan amfa niema bi anwu akwamu I don't even think say the program no crack can take off smoothly say ne ye pen.
Exactly.
Say is the money ready?
Well, I mean, the government is ready with the money. I mean, the government is ready to do this project, and so is ready to make it happen. We've launched the project. We are talking to a lot of investment. Now, you have to understand, say, because of what's happening in the world with Trump and tariffs and so on, a lot of people are looking for where they invest their money. And Ghana has a strategic location for these things. We have human capital that speaks the English. They are quite brilliant. You invest in them, you can be able to get the skills you want. We have the arable land that can grow the food, can also site investment machines and site the investment industries and so on. We have the lands that we can do. And we also have the port. And the way we are, if you want to go to Europe, is shorter than traveling from China to Europe.
The first amount
people are looking
the first amount Adom match say ye be releasing ye saying ye de be started Bema project na take you off.
Well, I can't give you the specific allocation and targets. We are working all these things out because we are implementing the program now.
Because you say secretariat now you're ready. You are ready to say.
Well, we have started. We started working since February. And we have been killing ourselves to be able to develop the program. The program, no consultants, a trusted program. And when you look at it, it's of higher standard that have been testified and attested to it by different, including international universities like Oxford and so on and so forth. And people know when you read the document, it's very inspirational. It's also a document that is very authentic because we wrote it from the bottom of our heart, with how we want to see where government is going.
Documents are actually from the bottom of our house. Ghana
consultants.
And did at the university for senior ministries are who run bebre. But to that, men person me bube because uchiano ye de unse ye wo. Akadro kra na bro for ye day. And no ye ginger. Ginger minim. If ye be wo hono mo a toda akwala ye boni omo se ye di ginger ye di betua wo. What is that term no?
Correct. But I know where you are coming from.
Utua ne nye den wie ne ye ka say close your legs a e ho na e den.
But this is what
you know. So ye beka so ya tra wie eno no wo ho. But say sika bema program no timi take you off ebianka. Yes, start after lunch, no. Sika say ni release ye dey start. Nanki who say.
But all these things is being worked out with the Ministry of Finance, and you know that it takes a process to be able to allocate. But we know that this is what should be allocated to us. There's going to be a mid-year budget review, so you look at those things and look for them. Certainly, certainly. Look at it. Exactly. Okay. It's very, very important. Okay. And the government and the president is very serious. That's why it's made the secretariat into an authority so that it will have its longevity, because that is important for investors. We have to bring. If I'm bringing money, I want to say that the money is long-lasting enough to create the value I'm looking for, so that they can pay back. So this is the some things. And some people will say, well, where's the market? Now, food import is $2.5 billion. Food import a year, $2.5 billion. Now, try say there's $2.5 billion market locally. And the Uber producer, you know that say when you produce 90% of what they Uber produce now, Uber to me at home. And there's a lot of money here. There's a lot of money. The GDP is $80 billion per year, which can be expanded to 120, 150 billions. Say serious. Now, ABY. Now, who imported $350 million a year? Not just a market. Now say we are body nina who produce say your margin. You know, sir, by the time you finish, trouble will be better. But the question is, how do you produce it in scale, in the quality that people and cheaply, so that people can have it? And to be able to do that, you have to get predictable energy. You have the water storage, water. You have to have storage facility, and all of that, and the people to actually produce, and the raw materials to be able to add value to it. And now we have to make it happen. So some of these money is to create those things for the private sector to see ready to come and invest.
Yeah, better that be in mako because dana your lunch program ni so here reporter wo honom Kwame Enumi etiase ya chichem ya show 24 ya bill 24
yes
ni nyina no enwumre e wo se obi a wo fie bia because we say ne dok okay no wa me ehu factories ne de omo ebedokua no omo de ewom ba wo so awo for omo ewo entertainment omo wo construction ni we nyina no e wo se ye nya explanation e wo anum anwumre ba nsa ne ebekwa no so dok ne wo kan nyina no me hu ne se ene 1D1F no ben enra say send yete yes minister trade minister call parliament or the attribute say ya cancel 1D1F no ya de 24-hour economy replace enumre wan kasa watumi am yehu say there be two no nye the same difference wom wa pinpoint there be 1D1F no ho ma anye ni ye raw materials ebetumi feed factories no ya nhwe ho no mo etisi etumi identify eniyama bi ya nkoye ewo previous government decision wo 1D1F no mu a are we leaving all those factories no a ni omo complete ye ni omo complete niyama nkoye ye ntumi nkorete ni ye ntwe ye mesi kwan mu na ye continue sense e beka say ye so ye de ne ye hyeronko enti ya cancel 1D1F
there be someone say 24 economy no is an economic structure, a new economic transformation agenda. It doesn't mean say what private sector is doing, which is good, cannot scale up. In fact, our implementation is looking at those who are doing well and want to scale up to be able to feed ourselves and then be able to export. And we are working with those that are here that are doing very well, that we can make them, we can accelerate we can scale it up and accelerate it. Now we are also dealing with some of the issues is not helping them to become more competitive in market.
Under 1D1F no. Program.
But there's so many of them. There's so many. Of course, we you know, because this is about Ghana. This is about a whole economic transformation agenda. So, and it is not to come and say this doesn't work well. In fact, in writing the document and setting the vision, we looked at all of these things and learned from them. And this is why you can see some similarities. Seeing similarities here tells you that we have reinforced some of the good thinking that went into things, into initiatives that were not able to implement well. We are bringing the issue of irrigation, supply chain markets, so that there's a good connectivity between what you produce and what it gets to the market very quickly and fast, so that you don't produce rice, we don't produce tomatoes, bedroom market. I say, how do you? So with some of those things, we are plugging the hole, and what we have come out with, we came out with all those people who are actually stakeholders in the market, AGI. Magazine for Kokompe for GIT, all those people. We work with everybody. In fact, we even have to talk to people who have dropped out from school and they are looking for jobs, and try to understand how do we get them and integrate them into the economy. This is why we have 8 programs that address everybody who wants to really get into the economy of the country, because every citizen matters. And that's why the vision is building an economy that works for everyone, every hour of the day. So that, say we a school dropout. Now you to me are ready, baby, and now you are not literate. Now who are doing, who are skills are? You should be able to use that to create value for yourself in the marketplace. Now why your job? And to creating entrepreneurs, a lot of them, I dare say, wanting to have many Ghanaian millionaires is what the vision is, so that we will own the 80% of our economy.
Afei yenhwe 8 areas no yebeba honomo abusua wutie yese Facebook, YouTube na wo hwe ye free a ene yene empanimfo a onumu ewo 24-hour economy secretariat na asi adwa ewo se yenya enchemu ewom ti wo asembisa bi a wadwenche no wobetumi e de afa honomo na yene Dr. Amano na asi adwa ene ye kan empanimfo ewo secretariat honomo no yenya establish secretariat na wie eti ya yim penimfo so e wo so mohwe na program no ekoso nyese bia mpenimfo aka ne keke mpenimfo wo ho a wo bo Dr. Ishmael ni Amano ono ene director ya chese wo hwe ye de yadwen esua ne fasika semo ntotoye no ono ene di animu e wo 24-hour economy secretariat wo honomo eti wadwenche no betumi e de aba sembisa bia pese obisa doc enwumre wo de ba ye be bomode na ye bisa doc amount na doc yenhwe 8 areas no because ye ka say grow 24-hour na no ye di ye news ye kan ya obi de ne so na say ye dua de na fira no pa no nsia na 24 hours na we dua na we ya besom say netie
grow 24 no enye say obi be dua de anopa no obi so akọ enyumre, but it's possible under technology. So for example, your friend maybe a greenhouse technology for vegetables and a net house technology for vegetables. It's a controlled area. Now you have your own influence, and you can decide when, because you set the temperature. Any idea is enclosed, so you can decide when you want to do your production. But that's different. It's under technology. Now, Grow 24 no. Now, say we want to expand agriculture in the key areas to produce the key areas of food products we need in this country. That also enables us to industrialize with those products, to create value chains, so that to create the jobs and will attract the needed investment to make industry prosper. A lot of us say no conflicts. Now only the conflicts are free maize. Now say we a maize farmer. You should be able to think say this maize are me grown or be the better conflicts and send a me producing. What kind of technology, what fertilizer do I need? How much irrigation do I need? Any idea? And we want to modernize our way of production through that Grow 24. And in agroecological parks. Now we bring the technology there, we bring the irrigation, the warehousing, your seed Uber selecti. Now extension service now be biya. Now we also grow in ways it will give you the opportunity to say you can also address your environmental and social impact is associated with your production. And to grow 24 is expanding production and quality and modernizing your agriculture through that. All right, that's the first thing.
And make 24.
Make 24 has to do with agro processing. Now, maize, when you say you also give some of it into animal feed and poultry, and now it's going to conflicts. And now bibisa. And now tin tomatoes, I want to say, is going to go into tin tomatoes. And to make 24 is about linking the production into manufacturing, so that you can produce a lot of the things. So agro processing. Then when you say Ghana, say, West Africa, we have the opportunity to produce vaccines, to produce antiretroviral drugs. We have to have generics for certain types of medical products. And pharmaceutical is very important. One of the things you see in Make 24 is a whole pharmaceutical center, Legon, to be able to produce the type of medicines that Ghanaian needs cheaply, so that we can access quality medications cheaply. So there's pharmaceutical side of things. Then there's also textiles.
Pharmaceutical companies and also private individuals
we coming to invest in these things. Everything is about private investment because the market is there. Pharmaceutical drugs per year is $20.7 billion across West Africa, and you will produce it for Ghana. And you have the market in West Africa as well through the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. This is what we are trying to do. Then there is also the machine center for fabrication of industrial machines. We have a lot of our guys, how they can use their hands. They are being gifted to use their hands to fabricate plugs, fabricate. How do we professionalize this thing so that we have a machine center that can fabricate all types of industrial machines, not just for industrialization of Ghana, but to be able to sell to Togo, to Benin, to Sierra Leone, to Liberia, and so on. So there's going to be a machine center. We'll site it in Ashanti region because of their what we see there. We can compare a magazine, Kumasi magazine, and so on. Then there's also the other aspect of manufacturing has to do with construction. We have a lot of there's a national catalog of building materials is related to nation. That is really found here with a lot of research from Building and Roads and Research Institute. If we are using it, we better construct your houses cheaply, affordable, and very high quality. And it will look very decent and very unique from any other houses you see all across the parts of West Africa. We call Europa. You see the house there is so different from houses in London. And there's a way you can modernize your infrastructure to help you. But also, and that linked, so this the construction materials, how to fabricate those things. And that linked us to the Build 24, which has to do with how we build our own infrastructure, getting the skills of Ghanaian skills, getting the Ghanaians to have the skills to build your infrastructure, not just our houses, our roads, our bridges, and all these things. Say how we construct a house. Nature say carpenter no free Togo, and Tyler no free Benin. A lot of the skills, artisan skills, they are losing, and yet we are looking for jobs for our people. So we have to bring these things back because we cannot continue to rely on foreign skills to build our houses. So and that is Build 24. And
I show 24 no so you there here.
Now me say open show 24 no pa. Na show 24 no.
No ne club na you see e be ko no ana say there here. Any e be ko club there tia na ejina mu no.
Now show 24 has to do with how we organize and elevate the creative community. The omuye films, the omuye acting, the omuye drawings, creating a lot of shows, hairdressing, all types of anything that has to do with the creative sector. How we can package it as uniquely Ghanaian and be able to export it to the rest of the world.
Ne yenim se edru baby
and I am music
edru baby ma Ghana e music do ka na che se omudi bia be frafrem so high life na na da so ejina mu ba ne ewo mu ye fasini se ye twasini wo mayi mu a yenim se edru baby na omu yi ni kakra so Gollywood ye de no beba anya hwe Thursday theater kra de na no so
and to do sort of things.
Concert party
correct.
So ebeka ho.
Correct.
Ewo mu a yesi o Kumase Kumawood so aba. Ni nyina no ene ye hu. Enti under show 24 no. Oka se ye be fa so apagya de na mo be ye de abo mo.
One of the typical things in show 24 is to see that national community centers we are trying to rebuild and refurbish them.
community centers.
No, so that if within communities it will, because those are the bases. Acting, music. Those are the places where we do these national community-based centers.
Stakeholders, no.
Yes.
Stakeholders, no. Problems here then.
Problems
because building community centers, no, from your mommy at the community centers as or move from the one or my yena support and yenya support and yentumi movies and yentumi yeden it will build the community centers no na say or more was so much no or more was so much no say or munya support na community center near
no, it's these community centers are rallying point for the creativity and arts and theaters. It's a rallying point. We should say national theater because it is there. We have a lot of shows now. And in our communities, no, this will stimulate some of these things. If you build community centers, you build it with a way to create opportunities for people to incubate. Your friends, they incubate or more ideas. Yeah. So we give them those things. One of the things they also need is the Creative Arts Academy. People will be given the requisite capacity to be able to do that. There's also one of the things we have to, which I will talk about, is about financing. We have a means that you can access the financing to grow your film, to develop film and be able to make money and pay back.
One of the
is the fund 24.
Okay.
Looking at different creative ways of creating the funds to give a patient capital with long-term concessionary loan, very lower loan rate. Now you don't need collateral, but it all depends on how you organize yourself as a cooperative or an association of, say, film actors. You need to be able to have this money to invest in a studio, to invest in some of the marketing your film and things like that. So these are all the various things that we are looking at. So the idea is anybody who has a talent and creativity, you have whatever it takes, whether you want some advice or capacity or somebody to hold your hands to be able to sell your music beyond Ghana and somewhere else, you have the opportunity to be able to do that. And you are creating all these centers that can help you to be able to do that.
Into a bit to me, under 24-hour policy, no. You bet me revival the movie industry.
The movie industry.
Country,
correct. That's the whole vision.
That's
the whole vision. And things like Panafest. I thought that being a Panafest, now the whole world comes to come and see what we're doing. Even if you show your festivals, we don't even have an encyclopedia of a festival. Your food, the varieties of the food. All these things needs to be, they are uniquely Ghanaian. And the other thing is also the whole Ghanaian story. The whole Ghanaian story. And this link to Go 24.
Go 24. Go. As in going.
Your own unique Ghanaian story. What makes me a Ghanaian that I'm so proud of? What kind of story can I tell?
What's your goal?
Go. G-O, go.
Okay.
Yes, she said, we are going every...
And also, you're 24-hour.
Go 24 is ABY. What are you doing to elevate the power of Ghana? What am I doing? What is the minister doing? What is the musician doing? How do we represent ourselves overseas? When someone look at it and say, this is Ghanaian. So the whole Ghanaian brilliance and its identity, we have to bring this thing back. Say, Kwame Nkrumah Ghana, Pan-African Ghana. Uko Amanonia, who say, who for Ghana, they have stories about Ghana. Those glory needs to be reset and we have to bring them back. Then to 24-hour economy is looking at all these things. Now, Usha, some of these stories, you can codify them now. They are also exportable. They are the things that will attract tourists to come and check and see what we are and what we are doing.
And yes, they say you benya fund 24-hour. He for ne betumi access our fund in be. And
the fund is for small medium enterprises, as in person entrepreneurs. We are beautician, beautician, and now we are farming, and now we are creative arts, and now you are going to textiles and garments. Now so those are the people that the money is going to go to, and it's going to be a long term. The term is longer, so you have between 3 to 5 years moratorium. You structure to build your equity and send our pay. You pay, but it has to be. One of the things we have to deal with is that we need to make sure this money, when it goes, you are able to pay back, and then we can revolve it around.
Like who assess loan, but ABNC who no be from
less than 10%. But was Odeba, and so we are looking at working with cooperatives, associations. They are the ones that can make things happen. And if you belong, so and you belong to say, Actors Association. Now, you are known for making films. All of you are. So you are regulated. You regulate yourself to be disciplined, to know that when you receive money through the Actors Guild, you are able to, through the Artists Guild, you are able to pay back. If you don't pay back, nobody else, when they apply for that loan, they don't get it. And if you don't pay back, there's something about you that we have to take back in order to make sure we can pay back the loan. And there's a whole monitoring system around it. But it's structured in such a way, say, before you go for the loan, you are, if you lack management capacity, we are a musician, but you need somebody to manage you well, manage your negotiate your patents, and those things will all be structured around the loan, because it's a way to de-risk the loan, so that when you go and you make your and you need maybe how to sell your films, how to sell your music, there's all this, you'll be able to access those services, so that you become a real entrepreneur to be able to do this thing. Those were the things that were lacking as we talk to all of them. That it's not just about making the music, it's about getting the music commercialized, also getting the music go beyond the borders of Ghana, and somebody must help you to do that. It's also about negotiating the music so that you'll be able to get the best value for it.
Doc say Osha documenta mode eba yenumua comparison say ye countries or more ye 24-hour economy ni bi na maka so ye no nyase ye fiti prekope ni ye observe niema bi from countries or more take you off with such policies ni bi na sa countries ni nyina so no mehwe niema bi ye similar wo sane omusi hihye omo niema because ye ken ye wo niema bi wo ho a wanya take off no kora enye.
Correct.
Infrastructure say bia ene ye ka say 24-hour economy no a me ade ba kwa na mehwe energy sector no security ewom transport ewom ni nyina no ya ready
until we are starting implementation. Now say who ya bibia, it takes a while before we begin to see who plant a seed. Say it was a pro of form asana is proud then continue after 6 months now on maize. So it's a process. What is important is how we start and structure our implementation strategy. And the can say, for example, as part of knowing say a lot of industry, they will need energy in agroecological parks and so on. We have a model for the energy strategy, and that model for the energy strategy is to look at what we call embedded solutions. It's not we are not producing the energy that's going to add on top of what we need already, but within the parks, we are working with people who finance energy production in solar, in biogas, in waste to energy, and so on. They have the technology, and these are people who have worked with industries all across the world who are coming to work with us. And we are negotiating with some to set up in some industrial parks. So they'll produce the energy 5 to 15 megawatts, 20 megawatts. That would then be offtake within the parks. And if they need only 10 megawatts and they produce 15, 5 megawatts can then be offloaded onto the national grid to be able to sell to others. So by the time we finish, we are creating a new wave of investment in renewable energy. That is very good for us. Now, The other thing is, you talked
Security.
about security. All the security sectors, police, immigration, SEPs, cyber security, they are all having their own strategy on 24-hour economy to be able to fit into it. Yeah, kind, as we are speaking, cyber security is laying good infrastructure because as money is coming up, is growing, investors need to feel that there's no scammer that will take their money away somehow. So all this in cyber security is going to happen. Now also personal security. Yeah, we know, say, as productivity is increasing, you need a lot of security. And so they are also laying the grounds for that. Now I want to say, as productivity increases and people begin to move into different places and so on, population will increase in certain areas where there are jobs. So it has implications for schools, it has implications for community health centers. So all these things is part of the plan as we are rolling the implementation. So and what we are doing is developing the various activities how we're going to establish industrial parks and agroecological parks and all the farming centers and so on. So we are working on all of these activities and working with private sectors and matching them into these various interests. And by December, what you will see is that we are ready to take off, and you begin to see on the ground where these parks are, what they are doing. And we are working with...
Until by December, you begin
to see how...
take you off fully, ready, take you off by December.
With a portal for the financing and all these things that are going on. And we started implementation. We are rolling out. That's the way it works. And if you are looking at a transformation, it's a painstaking process to set the basis right. It is we are laying a foundation for things. You have to focus. And it's not we are always focused.
Now transport no so.
Yeah, we are talking with DPRTU. So we are looking at all this. We don't sit down and get the answers. We work with them to create the answer. Your friends, a co-creation. And that's how we wrote the document. And we are implementing the same way. All the stakeholders are part of this.
Only GPRG for Kasasa because minim say your state transport ya sheda cry your bus lane do baby do car kofa honum cry price for semacho. Enti state transport no se no be ye adwuma ye ka say you could depend on GPRT for our mo tim sorry da kro no maka che say ya tufu omunti na ye nya adwuma.
But they are key critical stakeholders for public transport. And so you have to work with them. You have to work to state transport, you have to work with all the institutions and the stakeholders, private sectors, all of them, because we have to work with a solution that works for all of us. And we have to start from the point of view of how do we make this happen? Yes. Because only a lot of people the thing about Ghanaians is that we are so brilliant. But we need to be inspired to use our brilliance. And we have to do it with respect.
Doc miemfa o mamfo adwenchira baby Facebook YouTube o mamfo adwenchira o modia baby mamisha same free Facebook Amade Steven de you de aba Amade Steven was here Ghana de when it comes to say kasa we can talk but action no near sem no ebetumi the explanation no aba ne do say say implementation in so very poor etime ho na me problem wo with explanation eba de ka very good explanation eba no by implementation dear no na migidie no wo form kra say medie di say ne omo ka implementation betumi akoso Anita ya Ajima Odum was here President Mahama kache Ghana for say 24-hour economy no at the 3 shifts duties na eba in every government institution any private companies mu na ebeboa ma workforce na quadruple be say me bisa o and then ya mu kan nyina no mente saa 3 shift asem no ewo mu eno no ehyemu wo henfa ewo 24-hour economy asem a mo kan anwumre mu your story say no mbeka che ya na doc beko ho no mo minu aba doc beko ho na wa mayen sa 3 shift no so hu asem say government institutions ni bi kra start ya ni nyina obami ehu Gastiman o say bi why no kwasem ni say explanation a doctor ama no me ne no nya adwen wo niema bi ho hwe yes 24-hour economy no my explanation ba ne wo ka no me hu difference we any 1D1F ma say 1D1F explanation and what they ma ye no me hu difference bia wo 1D1F any 24-hour economy mu ne wo mu an say 1D1F na mpanimfo afa they've just changed the name difference bia any true no mu you doc ama ne explanation or de ma ye no o che mu difference wo mti say wo so nya ho nte ase de ane doc wo ha Dumas Pareto Duma ne de ayo de aba o se akua wa hu NDC for kan se mi me kan say explanation no yenya eno kwasem so ne se ne doc wo kan nwumre no still na 24-hour economy no menti ase ne metie concept ne de 1D1F concept pepe if you say explanation a doc de man nwumre na akua wunim say Martin ministers ye omo ena omo ye ministers omo wo power o ebebre so the explanations about different me nua be man nti na me ka say from the secretariat yanyim free secretariat no ho no because explanations about ye before elections name ye to abawie ye de nipa no bebre na kasa doctors kura be keka ye ma omo keka ebi kan ya na chese nsisi so nti na me sitie from the secretariat ni omo kan nti ne doc kan no se wo hia more explanation a ye nwie ye obeto aso ama why nya boche na ye hwe ne be kwa kosi ko mensa platu o se akua doc me so anu ajoti bia man na yetumi ayi ensem no bia no because ebi mo de ye omo de aba no ebe hia se ye be kom with anita de ani say 3 shifts no me pese obekọ ho no mo amaye ni ahwe se bia government institutions ni bi ahase edu ho no mo a na wabomu ameta no seed ye yode aba wo se akua wunim me ye NDC ni papa me se me de onim se da bia me de me message ba me message ni na reflect se me ye NDC member ba wunim explanation a NDC for ye de ba eni sa policy we hu asem a ye ka no on se wo bisa doc kra fa seed money ho no yentumi kura hu se sei ene ye de ye nke no beboa because MPP for de omo ye no omo twetwa sika to wo ye de ye we eti se ye de na ekoye se ya kan ye behia sika sei na ye hu sika ye de ye no a na ese story se ne ye kan keke near the confusion na eba eti we can do better onso ne de ya ode aba enono tano si de ya wode abetum no ko mensa platu ose akua mesre wo ewom se ne mani abreka 1D1F asem nenso wunim se fiada blekuma no fom so mokoto aba no akua firi ya MPP nko enso se tie bia wadi nkunim yo wo da fia bedi nkunim mo se monko no omadi nkunim yo duru ho a ebehu ai kopai mensa wose akua mesre wo ose maminka wo die bro for say they are going to give to they are going to give to their families se sikasam no na wo kan dia o se doka chemu fan 24 no wa me ehu omo betumi asese enti dam se da bi say answer hinfo na betumi akogibie odi nchemu ababa erikopa esi ebi wai mimi hu ni sa hwe ye be ye ne ye de be ma abusua wo sisika no wantua wanhwe ye wa japade akure betumi abefa nye sa na tie enti na chese unsori keke enkogi sika no wo se just like who ji loan na unya bibi se collateral udi sin way the same thing and
there's no collateral
never say
but you have to belong to a cooperative or an association
mu betumi age
yes
ye maslogo ne ne ya TTB
no it's a private sector driven so you have a before you access the loan, there are a lot of things you have to do. First, you have to belong to a cooperative or an association. And secondly, you have to be taking the money to invest in a value chain, creating the number of jobs you're going to have. We have to know the agroecological parks where you are going to invest. And at the same time, we are working with you to make sure that there's an offtake for the product that you are, and linking that to the market. we have organized the production centers. That's why it is so different from 1DYF. 1DYF means that every district will have a factory. In 24-hour economy, factories are going to be sited in industrial parks, and then you have agroecological parks where we are going to put your things. You're going to set up your production. And we are siting these agroecological parks on economic corridors where we can link the production through market through connectivity to industrial parks and markets. Mm-hmm. So we are looking at specific growth corridors. 1DYF is saying, well, you can put a factory in Ododo constituency in the district, in Yashedu Ketega district. We does not need factory here in Accra. That's the concept of 1D1F. One district, one factory. That's not what we're saying. We are saying that you can site factories in places where there are raw materials, in places where it makes sense, where you can aggregate the product. In places where it makes sense to be able to increase the productivity, in places where you can do irrigation and you can connect to markets. So that is the difference. And it's a very, very different.
1D1F no mototo factories no.
Nima crowd bet to anya factory wo.
Ebi wo ho anaso obetumi anya.
Well, it does the concept.
Because also catch here say places are raw materials no wo. And on be even though so almost say every district no places are raw materials.
Let's not say every, even though. You say one district, one factory. Mm-hmm. Every district will have a factory. Mm-hmm. And to Nima obanya factory brain wo.
Nima de yehwe wo.
No, me bisa
Nima.
And so this is why this is the limitation of 1DYF concept.
Abakum sense ebi ma menchia mo anwumre good job nyame enhia mo nhia so so twene vandam o say ebi the 24-hour economy no a good policy ebeboa youth no papa especially youth na omuni adwumayo no nyankopon enhia mampani John Dramani Mahama ewo saa anisuade huna wanya se ode ebeboa the youth of Ghana nyame emwa no pa na ontumi emfa enye adwuma yedase ewo wadwenche ya wode aba eho wesu de ayi ode aba ma menhwe tanosi ode no makan Tawia Kwame Steven o say bi wa me enjoy program no from Sahwi Adwofua eho na metie mu free Obama Nation o say bi wa metie mu papa na me pesa me bom panimfo bi abaso nkanka Honorable Alhaji Alhassan Suini Deputy Minister for Roads and Highways and Dr. Hannah Louisa Bisiu yedase Felix of Osafo Kantanka Worcester USA and Wadena Drenche if you say bi wa me chiamo anwumre na unim omanya yetimu electricity yenya stable electricity kura say the energy sector and can ntumi nsi so no we are not getting without our policy we kura ni yenya eti we yi omode ba no unim mimi hu ne say omobeka ma manfo de omusika behiem ye bebie factories e be wi ase no na yenyan kani electricity ye de be adwuma ni a collapse amanfo business. That's how I see to ni empadinfo be ye no sa na hu ne say anhwe ya omobe ye ombedi nipa hwammo Fred o se bi why 24 hour no apeke that de be adwuma piaga o se Ghana de your problem or ya NDC.
Now EBY mpese me responding about electricity and some of the skepticism. Someone say as a people, because of what we have been through, there's a lot of people that doubt good initiatives. And it is not just Ghana, all over Africa, because of the way politics we have managed our politics. Our politics don't provide solutions and create the needed opportunities for our people. And a lot of people are cynical. But say, ube cynical crowd. Look at the people behind the policy and how the policy has been carefully planned. We show a document, and I encourage a lot of listeners, no more bomodia, more kind document, especially Aspire 24. Aspire 24. The Aspire 24. It speaks to the youth. It speaks to the kind of work ethics you need to have, the kind of skills you need to have, and how you need to develop yourself so that you can participate in this economy how we are bringing. An economy where we are opening up all the opportunities to be able not just to think about doing creating an entrepreneur, but being able to access the financing that can help you to do that. And not just accessing the financing, but accessing the capacity that you need to be able to function in this modern economy. We're going to have all kinds of centers of excellence to make everybody digitally fluent, so that you can engage in this type of economy. And this is a very, very important thing to do. And we are looking at every aspect of the economy. We are beautician, cosmetician, and now we are in the creative arts.
And now three shifts no.
So let me so this 24-hour economy, during the campaign, we are painting the picture of a growing Ghanaian economy that is so robust, such that it's producing a lot of what it needs and it's producing for other countries. So we are busy producing for other countries. We are bringing shifts, and because we are attracting a lot of people coming here, and people are busy, we need to have a nice economy to deal with the services. And I can assure Ghanaians that a lot of the services our government are providing, they are going to move in a 24-hour basis. To the extent that GIPC is where it has a premium 24-hour economy. GIPC, Ghana Investment Promotion Council. He's working 24-hour economy, 24 hours. Most of the services provision, passport, you're talking about that. They've laid the foundation to be able to move into the 24-hour
economy. By GIPC, they are not taking off.
He's taken off. He's launched it, the 24-hour premium economy. And most of the service delivery centers of the country, ports and harbors, GRA, all of them have got, and the security sector, they all have 24-hour economy strategies that they are rolling out. And we should allow that to start happening. What we need to watch for citizens is to see that these things are happening and demand for them, and because this is going to happen.
But from your work, nature say the feel of 24-hour economy no pa by the end of the year. By the end of the year,
because we started, we are rolling out a policy, and sometimes, and I understand this. What I'm going to say is that people are impatient. People are truly impatient because of what we've been through as a people. But you remember, we just launched the 24-hour economy only last week, and then everybody wants us to start seeing shift today. It won't work like that. So let's continue to maintain. No. A lot of companies, many companies who are into manufacturing are running shift already.
And say old system
and not some of them, and not some no.
24-hour economy, as some people were saying, say it's already in existence.
No, but it's the scale. It is the scale. If you need about 1 million shifts system and you only have 2, you can still say it's running the system. So it's the scale that you're going to see. So by the time we're rolling out all these things and people are scaling, you begin to see this to happen. So it is important, say, you give us the opportunity. We should all be engaging, bring the ideas. And you know that Guzitano can say, let's everybody bring ideas to make this thing work. Yeah.
Abusiansa fen wa bia wa fidia bani ni shuzumedie so ene yane Dr. Ishmael ni Amanododu ena SC Director and Head of Innovative Finance Partnership and Markets. Brofo de amudi biaba 24-hour economy and accelerated export development secretary. Doc.
We friend 24H plus.
24H plus.
Yes.
Abusia brofo titi no say yentwa ni tia.
Say for ABY and to friend 24H plus.
And now you're fine. Term no mo fan tumutim 24H plus and answer then 24H plus. Ayo mo fan tumutim. They say near Kano Dr. Amano Dodu ene no esi adwa Paul Amano Soji Ose bi wa me chairman nwumre ma me mamma yiko na NDC amanyoko no so de really ni o mahase ye no metumi aka say the party and the leadership no they are doing fantastic job. The best experience o mama ye ehu ewo my Ghana mu nti MPP de never again Paul Amano Soji de yode abano piaga o se akua wunim se LBGT asemu a wo kan in opposition sene na soafo ne mpanimfo bia no dem Sam George ne nkrofo o ma no dem no mesro hwehwe o moma me Amano Solomon de yode aba o se bi wai mame mama baso ene adwuma amo yesom o man Ghana ena we so de yode aba David Techimenson o se bi wai happy birthday enkoma my dear sister Nancy Coleman Mr. Kacha ni se nyame onhira no nyame ma serian hye na funumu ma nyame enum no anigye na ne nkwa enna odi na sasi suso no enye jojo emfa emma no David Techimenson na also de ma ne sister Nancy Coleman nti Nancy Coleman baby a wo bi anua be ma so tonkra Petros o se akua mesrewa unim Dr. Amano ana wo de na ba studio honom no sa program ya mo ye na nwumre no sa mo record a me pesa o keep the recording of sa program we fato wo ma me fasie ma me na wunim wo do de Doubting Thomas no woni numru unu o say it will end in tears he say me na mesu ana doc ne besu ana Ghana fo ne besu on the awusi tape no me mfanto multimedia sa wo pebe 2-3 years anti na toda BBC a MPP for so obeka say ye boma wo mo IGP beche den CD ni we no 4 years achi ye boma wo munti relax
e bi wa mpasa me catch on so say the obetme ayama me say kind program no on kind document no non trust e wa kind on fa date no to enti ye ba na ye compare notes
o say me sha say me kan bibi say reading obi wo hono mo a opese o me explanation say nu otie ti me ne o kan che say no adwo to bibi and wo kipu ato ho eti yeso ye ba kipi ye de dru hono mo a obi a de ne de beba and then the comparison will come in because sometimes me I don't blame Ghanaians mo the policy ba no more doubt so we nye we o muntumi nye because e bi asida
and because of so the experience and what I can say because of the experience yanya with politicians they say I am trusty politicians but it is something that we need to work towards but the other thing and what all of us because all of us
by December no ye hwese intake off kra no na banwuma mu de government agencies na bia na what de ne de ni nyina yes ye hu ne ye na private sector no so de ba mu ti e bedu ho ne ehu bibia sa
the success will be what government would do and what private sector would do and overseen by Ghanaians. So it is us who will make sure that this will happen. The spirit I did show document and he has set a vision. When the Bible can say show you vision so one try you never know how to implement it. So until you show vision say oh we share vision now a good idea. The mean say implementation no ena a problem which is correct and most policies are not just here we share abrochi bibia all these countries that are watching
had the too much
and some of them
and na doc na me niema ni bi ono mo a say when to me am my specific answers to sir niema na
it's too early say ubema specific answers to say oh Sena this amount of money is going to come for us in a year.
But someone may have to say,
there's going to be budget.
No.
You will see some of this. Not actually, it shows commitment. Now, once President John Dramani Mahama, no Kano, he also mentioned, say, in order to ensure that this good vision, it will sustain itself over time. And the Secretariat authority that will report to the office of the president. Sena say only hokra the authority is there to continue to push this agenda. And it's extremely important, and that shows the commitment. The commitment also about the 10% seed fund that comes in to be able to leverage it with the private sector coming in. It's also very important. and we have to see some of this, use some of these signs to give us reasonable assurance, say we can do it. The other thing is also, rather than being skeptical, let's ask ourselves, what more can I do to make sure this project succeeds? And I think as Ghanaians, important. So BBIF, something I can bring jobs, and the idea is to create 1.7 million jobs, which is what everybody wants to have. You want to be able to create jobs for people. It doesn't matter whether they've been to school or not, they can read or write, but they have the skills, they can function in an economy and create value for themselves and build a decent society. This is something very, very useful. And questions that we have to ask is, what more can I do to also help? And the 24 Economic Secretary, we are open so that people will come in with their ideas, not just criticism, but criticize and give us solutions so that we can move forward. Yes.
Can Bobe dear your day Abba or Sequia? A simning in a chino. May my sim be sunny said a bay in a china. The Chinani December, we were Docker my time say, yen share a free sabre, Nessa, a finny a payment year or bear 6 months square in Rupapa. Nessa, your hunie a besinti yaboche. Roget a day or CBY. Me did the Rastaman, mitium free article. Nyame enkam ho yedamase so any explanation a mode adom yen anwumrei ewo 24-hour economy no emu kache doc say omonkoso na omoma yente policies no ase ne aban no eye no omoma yenhu se ne enema siko agye ni moso de ayi ode aba o se bi wai yedamase anwumrei ewo ne mode abre yen kache doc say mechia no but me problem a me wo eye se still na doc see seed money no chese enye ready
that be me cancer Senam, this is how the government works. The Ministry of Finance would have to do mid-year budget, and he will see any of the policies our government is implementing will find an expression that there. So it is important, say, we should all wait for it to happen. Now, it's a commitment, and he has made that commitment in public, which means that it will happen, because this is what the president says. And this is important. So we are private sector. Now you are looking to invest into this big deal. The question you ask is, what is the skin in a game? What is government also put in there to show his seriousness? And he has told the world that this is what he's going to do. And and let's look at the channels to be able to look at those.
Mamimfa ne message ni sia je ni modie no ba ko no wayi ano no na otoaso no de betu dwa se me de said doctor ka se ye nyina yemfa ye hunhyem ba bi wai infrastructure ni ho no mo a Ghanaians ye de hunhyem a enye you because me kwa adwuma na I have to close deep in the night na say GPR2 cars no enye adwuma e wono so me den yakọ wase me pesa me di USA example wofa state bi ti say New York ebi why any time open transporter wopon adwuma betumi anya bi eti ye anya infrastructure no a program no enye.
And another answer there is that we are rolling it out. So we're rolling it out in production zones. There's going to be that 3 shifts and night travels. No, those things will be there. It's going to be part and parcel of the production strategy, of the implementation strategy over there. So, and to say there are no shifts, there are no night markets in Accra. Certainly, you will not see cars moving there. And these things are going to be part and parcel of the implementation strategy.
Adom Yesu, Mr. Pardon, Doc, Mame, because answer na yebeshe program na se Doc ma yete asese ni twi no enye nti we kura no waya ade eti Adom Yesu nyaboche ma Doc ne woka no ode o ma yete asese ode be frafra twi kakra bebam brofo kakra bebam ti nyaboche azi twumasi o se bi wai mehwe mu free Israel Tel Aviv na Ghana ye wo kwantwa ye leaders no ene ye dwuma ye no ye wo kwantwa papa nyame enhu ye mobo ena kwasi usu de ayi ode aba o se bi wai mitiemu free Sydney Australia ena mitiemu free me ya taxi driver ewo Australia make say Sydney ho no mitwika na 24 hour no ebi wo ha 24 hour economy no ebi ne ye ne ha nkania si so 24 hours restaurants say be 24 hours taxi say operate 24 hours trains keteke ye adwuma 24 hours ena chese bibia no se ye ka 24 hour no a enye se fa bi eye ena fa bi nye wo mu se omamu ni nyina anye de but se wo peka ya benya bi upaduane adi abenya bi upetase ye do bekwa ni nyina no ubenya bi a mo ho enkyere wo eti ye nhwe se ye hwe asua amanya omo practice 24 hour economy ne de a ye hwe we enumu na ye nsua Emmanuel Owusu wose akwie unim NDC for gi omudi a at your own risk wo kai say wo omuka so mbe ye Hope City ekosi sen opportunity bi a wo mbenya wa bra ye elections no no omatu bi agumu a nti ni omu kai die tumda ma mimie homa no entum wo so wasembisa bi a wutumi edeba enti free sabri ko no mibie homa no atumo question bi a de beba no adaroma doc wo hai ne wo se yiwa no ye be yiwa no 0302216561 ena 0302216562 betumi afre na de wadwenkyira badwumadie no eso medase pa menu abema wo so wo Australia wo de ho de example abrɛyen wo se ehonom Sydney o taxi driver no no ne de no taxi no twina na dwumu ni nyina so ope ba bi adidi anadwo no obekɔ aduane nie enkani asi so 24/7 bibia ye adwuma wo honom yo example na ade ama me na me ka New York de na so de Sydney de aba betumu no ma memfa frefo di kan hello
Oyuma
eja alaji boko alaji ma wa fidie no enko form na to asoma yen hello alaji hello
Ekuya
eja udi ni baby afrefre
Collins ni ilu PM wa mamoli
yo Collins mi enti o
mami chia ni abu akasa pa na me how ba ko ne se ase ye policy a ye de ba no ye prepare ye ho ye nyoma ye bosha ye kan ye gidi eno tani me how because in past government no President Mahama so shega na fobo se ore awo ho ye ja eno ato ho Ghana phone hu ne ekọ ne eba na enyoma ye kan ye ebi ani 24 hours ase no won gidi afikura ye ndruye enti mesere mo posi ye no kakra no mo dupu no mo ma Ghana phone hu ne ekọ ene ne eba
na mini abema omuntumi nye we no alongside ora no wahu
ase your policy no come Ricardo enyoma ye kan na first year yi o ne implement 24 hours Ghana phone ya omo as that ye can say so be bonia ye farm no as all no that for sure and no particular agenda kasa that also
yeah that's it baby obia wo baby an interest wo so no ra ne hia ne pa wadi sika ye nchewo eho no no nko benya nka ne chese nka edwuma ne okoso hello
Komo biaba
eja udini baby afrefre
acho ebiwa master planner junior ni kintampo
yo master planner mi enti o
ebiwa edikan no ma membo abaso ene o panel member me say education massive I mean, lawyer, Justin could get from MPP General Secretary. Still, inshallah, maybe why. You see, in every policy, what the Bebano, one of the key stage, first stage, planning of the policy. So one planning year, implementation stage, evaluation stage, now be fairly say poto, and it is clear. Say 24-hour economy. Say the NDC, NDC has not planned about 24-hour economy. Omo prepare ho keke. Ya call lunch we ABY. Omo nim omo hu boto anu no mo de kura ayeden ahyem. So obeka ABY. President Mahama kind of first state of the nation address.
Wakati say 24-hour economy no won kan ho asem or the Bema finance minister honorable to force and no be kan budget or be kan ho asem a kire police a ugina so ye campaign 2024 ma Ghana for to abama on anti man kan ho asem finance minister be kan budget wakati say oh Busita no ba or be kan ho asem Busita also by a launching of the program ukokan program na hwe ni kutireyam Osmure campaign mukate say 3-3-1 and 3 jobs 3 people what some information minimum some football team and no information but and then so a different issue Emma honorable okuje to black cat say oh on the passport office come marshal say run 24-hour economy almost if you mukate say 24-hour economy no private sector led a fail on modi and marabi be ko parliament inti enfam no ko parliament and a passport office need to be Lomasha say. So clear say they don't know the roadmap, they don't know where they are heading towards. If you create enabling environment for businesses, 24-hour economy, you are what Kentampo 24-hour economy dada. Uba sawaba transport yada, and I'll do 3, and I'll do 4, and I'll do 2.
Yo, yeah, that's it. Kentampo the energy, mo 24-hour no. Mo sha se sa brem kwada bremu no a me papa kwakwampo for bar transfer wo ho no fufuo day by day anajo 1 ubenya fufuo adi wo ho Kentampo 24-hour economy ba ya chede nya eti omo de no Kentampo de minim fit te se omo 24-hour no mo sha se enye. Hello eja udini baby afrefe
Honorable Ekuya Buachu ayu Adom.
Wo de me aka honorable for no ho
You aka
there be minuru ho
yo matu na me be peja was asin ho kra
so asoma ye ja
but me din the Ali Taliban the fresh Abdul Mama here bajoy Abdul Mama here bajoy but me o Abdul Manof constituency ona me ejuma bia
nti na mo beto abafiada no
aba no say your party paying for ye nto aba nti ye nto
na o Ghana ni o ye Ghana ni na wo koto aba wo se party ne se nkoto nti wo nkoto sa anti na say
ABY sa esisie ye fa ni hi na e dia to hi
ayo wo ye kan wase
clear ya ko election ye win election ono ba ku ye free ye a win election ye be declare mano ya ko court ama order say ye onko kan na ye declare
Bema wo de kwa wasem so se mo nto agyae kule nyini mfiri mo ka na asem ozu di mirika ekwa he etwo ho na akwu amegina phone no ho. Hello eja udi ni baby afrefe
mpacho dada atijo ni samangase
dada atito mi entie o
yo mi da se mi wa nyame nshira na ombo ho ban mai na memfa yakoma aya akwatia man nyame mfa ayemia kuma enia penyi ayenes kumine crazy beda papa nasi ba se na wa presenting ni nsem no de no we the presentation but on the ground no you be say nti ba so yie nipa ye de on be se on sa ade we trust we di ye pesi bi se o on se ye de aban djuma mo bi e si o titi se ye em soa ye de si abeti u wi a obre ana wa de wa pia to fam nti ye bi se o mo ye de be se on se so sa 24-hour economy o mo ken ene light of dum so yi nti se nyuma yi baba for ebebem artisans ebebem obi aba be ye adwuma na light yinso enyina so nti eye sustainable de nti ye besere om so be de anese e wo se sector bia ye na adwuma electricity nyina so eka bi na wo wa se aban ne na de etuaka ene he ye se sa one city edit we petrol so yi ma driver for passengers obi abetua bi eka bi wo ho a light bill no ebeba no sisi a light bill ya to 17% nti eba ma sa adwuma na ayeyi ana nti ye besra aban no omma ni onfa nyama pengo kwan na masa 24-hour economy na san aka bi mu se on private sectors ne na eba be adwuma And so ba no si oba be resetting Ghana. Ene okọ banka yi binu ya san ko form aba. Nti ye besere omomo mu yi unyo yi na da bi nye da bi sene be ya Ghana be de e be konani.
Yeah, that's it. Dada Tito, ma memfa frefo entwa to. Hello. Good evening, Aja. Udini baby afefe. Adom Aja Udini baby afefe.
Asanka afenya matayiko.
Yo, asanka to asuma ye.
Ebi empatoli bibi. No, ya ha ya Ghana ni se wo. Ewo theory aspect ta itimika onwasem. But the Ebama particles are a problem. Intermechanical say the politicians know. Asembia mudu omesabwa omakano theory aspect. Oh, book me the prepare. But the member practical aspect are harding. Sina mechanic say, then how you say a backbone agriculture. Agriculture in United States be a great organization. Sectoral no state farms or Ghana has it. Say 24-hour economy. I didn't see that last now on young district be an kubisa. Ni biti ma yo ni agrek ni ye ni tumi ni ntumi ewia ye factories ni nane like ni na men kan ase ye factories na ntumi process ntumi export bi ni ntumi ni scam o man no de bia ye be kan book mu odu practical say ntumi nye ama man no quality because ni ko be school a muti fie mu ni adwuma nye but abai ni so ma say ye state farms ye 24-hour economy no ni export no be tro mo kai e mo mechanization machines am the big money if you are the export be a process of Ghana has I think every boy this is a book but the practical aspect hard simple for no more can only so no money Ghana phone call and maybe since Obokosa they are ready to back with me to cap.
Yeah, that's it. Ma memfa frɛ for no ensia. Dr. Amano Edaso ewufia say Adom Yesu say akua until say mehu Hope City na say Hope City asem de atwam mo say until say mehu Hope City no menyi NDC phone stay forward or see why no kwasem ne say explanation ni nyina akiri no still na mehu ntene me yie ewo saa 24-hour economy emu empanimfo nsa mra bio Adom Yesu wie no de to aso say akua anya kentamponko fufuo 24 hours upe fufuo di wo Ghana ha ye wo baby a fufuo no mo won the whole night Majesty's Kofi or say akua explanation NDC for the buffer 24-hour economy no ho no me gidie ye wo musa me gidie a enhyeda nye ye saa metie mu free UK United Kingdom na metie mu efri doc me gidi say amanfo abisa bi amanfo so de omadwen aba omo a anyi ni no edoso minim sese by December sane waka no eniema toto akwan mu ni esa de wo ba hase ya ena ubetumi aka se mekan ye na da ho no because ase nipa ni bebre gidie nu sha from the messages amakan and then callers afre oh bo ma no ho ba like if you are who can be bia man nipa na hu say no this is not just say ye they are no ena e kan nkranhye wo mu ne say
very clear and say we are living in a country where there's a lot of doubt about what politics can do. I won't call politicians. A lot of doubt about what politics can do. And yet Ghana, we share all across West Africa, any Africa. Even if you go to the United States to say, the Warhol, if you go to Europe, UK crown, United Kingdom crown, London crown, almost the same prime minister 3 or 4 times within 1 year and 2 years. And that skepticism of what politics can deliver is very high. But one of the things they say in say a can democracy is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And politics, no, it has to work for the people. Now, one of the things a bit to me abwa, and it say, is the politics coming with a vision? What do we need as a country? This is the question we need to put on the table. We need a country we'll be able to have food security, self-sufficient. You'll be able to create the jobs, industrialize, create the jobs our people need. The Omu can say, you know, we don't have any planning. One person talked about how do you have no planning? Say he has not even read the document. Now the question person posing to Manu say, is it okay for a country to import $350 million per year of Yemoadia? Is it okay? Is it okay for a country to have almost 2.4 million people 18 to 25 year old that they don't have jobs at all? Is it okay for a country to have his GDP controlled by external people and less than 20% of the GDP controlled by the country itself? No, we have to do what is right for the country, and to do that, you need to be able to come out with a vision that works. And to the vision idea behind me patro say, Obia should try and understand the 24-hour economy na idea to journal. So a lot of the questions and the skepticism, most all the answers are there, and I've tried to explain so that they will understand where we are going with this. Now, my chairman say, it is not about building factories everywhere. It's about building factories in areas of economic corridors that will create the needed prosperity that we are talking about.
So, a bringing tip. Sanya waka say, Ubia more modern say document no bia be can be. But Ghana near Tieno. A toda more explain say no so boa more. I'm hoping some will keep you up with the explanations. Send a muchechi muno.
Correct.
Now, ma Ghana for Swati, I see a Juma secretariat, no. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
And then one point also I want to put on the table is that we are the people that can make this country. It is not about the politicians. Now, when a vision is espoused, I will say, yes, now you try, now you beside say, a dear na faso, you be making sure vision no, a bejina. Now ya faso. And no need a question I will say all the time. Because skepticism there, but it doesn't solve the problem. What solves the problem is, what more can we do, or what else can we do to make it happen?
Yeah, that's say Abusia and no and what ye no nchemu so no me gidi se wati binti hwani mu free sabi ekosi bosom ye twatwo afi emu anya hwe no 24-hour economy no obehya se ehun senkyerani bi ewo mu eti ne ye ne mpanimfo ba ya Dr. Ishmael ni Amano Dodu and ye ne no esi adwa kwanchefo pani director and head of innovative finance partnership and market 24H
plus.
What's it, Dr. Amano send you sika H na no who say or no I shall say we can come be free. Ghana de very interesting country with meet you be donation no who say Equiane L Nene R Hanu di free Dr. Dini H free has say Adom say no. You remember that say oh no no more and
all the callers. Thank you all for the ideas. We'll take all the feedback. Thank you.
That's it. Ebusia ya di dwumade no ebesia na madam producers as lawyer listo wo kwadwo fojo kwamkule no Aisha Ekua Ibrahim Jamretu Makowua ena ni odimitu mu live on Facebook, YouTube ni din e di Edward Tete of Friend African obeje so na mamemfa seda no so bi emma Franco Trading Enterprise wonumu eneta yachi ena nyame ya Adom so this year Joy Habitat Fair no ebeba so ene yetema adawro mampedin for the niema nyina egu